But the idea of fair and balanced, generally speaking, I know actually Fox got rid of that because they realized they were neither. But it's this thing where the fair and balance itself is problematic because take climate change and scientists, what is it, like 99% of scientists say the humans are blah, 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 and then one dopey dude said blah, 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 and then, you get the news together and they got, here's one pro and here's the con, as if they are equally balanced. Yeah, right, whatever. Love bad news. Going back to the visual, the old saying, journalism, if it bleeds, it leads. That's why when we watch the news, we never see anything all that. They may have, at the very end, it's like have a small child playing with a goat or something. It's like, and now for the happy news. Little Susie. I was going to say she had a lemonade stand, but I think I saw something in the news that somebody got fined or arrested, some kid for selling lemonade without a license or something. Hey, you stupid kid. What are you trying to do? You need some sort of... This is not zoned for lemonade. They love melodrama, narrative, normative plots. Research indicates that the news, in particularly, is more dramatic from a plot perspective than soap operas. Really. And speaking of soap operas, see, I'm just changing my mind about this entire class when we're ending the third week. I should have done every lecture from a perspective of a character in General Hospital. But in any case. All right. General. Nah, that was a long time ago. I haven't watched soap operas in forever. You know why they call them soap operas? Because they're so clean. That's a joke. You should probably know. Go research it. They were selling soap. Okay. So contemporary journalism, generally, but I broaden this up to all news, not just all media, not just news media. A lot of it's broken. Can we fix it? I don't know. I say the best journalists aren't journalists with journalism degrees, but regular critical folks blogging and stuff like that. People who have media literacy, like comedians, satirists. Those are my heroes, not cowboys. Okay, so there's just the landscape, and this is not me, just saying this stuff. This is, no, it's not in the book, but this is well sort of researched work that's out there and multiple studies. Okay, this ain't no fake news. General ideas of how media function before again we get to some of the specific stuff in the chapter. Surveillance, obviously, gather and disseminate information. Where do we get our information? Yeah. I mean, how do we know what happened there or whatever? Correlation, oftentimes they, for us, analyze and evaluate information oftentimes. Perhaps I think the most, particularly for chapter 11, the most important stuff is cultural transmission. Media, and it's just not the news, it's also TV shows, commercials, whatever. They teach us about our culture. They sustain, they create, they socialize us to see the world this way instead of this way. Why do some folks see the world from sort of an ethnocentric biomedical way? We learned it, in part through watching media stuff. And then, of course, entertainment. We can't escape, but even when we're escaping, I mean, we might see a product, placement thing. Oh, yeah. Speaking of product placement, did you realize that this lecture is brought to you by Hardee's, pioneers of the great American burger? I am not associated with Hardee's. nor those ridiculously sexist advertisements. Oh man, who really? You know what I'm going to do one day? I'm going to put a bikini on and go to Hardee's and order a burger, because burgers taste better when you're a model in a bikini and photoshopped, and dudes are watching you. All right. So, a few other things that are actually particular to news that you probably ought to think about. Agenda setting is just this idea that news, they set the agenda. They are gatekeepers. So when we go to CNN.com or we watch WIS-TV at night or WLTX or WOLO or whatever, people have decided what they're going to cover. They are setting the agenda for what we think is important. What is news? What's in the news? They tell us. Some people argue that news is hegemonic because it does promote dominant perspectives. Hegemonic is basically just this idea that it privileges one set of ideas over other sets of ideas. So, we got these stories of good guys versus bad guys, us versus them. The movies, who plays the bad guys? White folks? Usually not. Okay, lots of stuff is oversimplified. So, a lot of this impacts what I like to call, other people call this, media logic. And that is, all these things have, I think, infiltrated how we generally go about the world. We tend to like things short and to the point. We don't like a lot of detail. We can't handle detail anymore. You can't handle the detail. We just skim the surface. We read the headlines and don't read, that's why we live in this tweet culture. Slick production. We want catchy music and catchy visuals. I say it produces sort of a cultural attention deficit disorder, which I'm not trying to stigmatize anything, but it's a sense that, hey, give it to me now. And short, because I don't have time. Okay, I am going to now get into some Viagra. Look at this. Gentlemen, want to know more? Can you see that? Viagra helps guys with erectile dysfunction, or ED, get and keep an erection. Individual results may vary. Find out how. Look at her. She's got a football. And a little football jersey on. She's married, so I guess she's not inviting all the guys out there. Oh, okay. I'm going to get to more of Chapter 11, or Chapter 11 here in a second.